Today on Pots and Trowels we're going to look at the new P&T HQ, in other words our new garden, and that's brought to you with the support of Cobra Garden and Allett. Hello and welcome to Pots and Trowels. Well, at long last Jill and I have moved. Those that watch Pots and Trowels on a regular basis will know that Jill and I left our house and garden quite a while ago, and we've been searching for a new venture, and we've eventually found it, and we're here now in Lincolnshire, northwest of the county, and this is Ivy Cottage, where we're going to be developing our new garden over the coming months or even possibly years. There's about a third of an acre, so only about half the size that we had in the old garden, but the difference with this garden is it wraps around, whereas our old garden was very long and thin at the back, so we can see the garden from every window in the house. And there is a garden here. It's been lovingly tended for many years, but like everybody that moves into a new property, you always want to create your own garden, put your own imprint on it. So what we will be doing is editing the garden, taking out some of the plants, replacing them with others, and changing shapes and creating a garden that's going to be ours, that fits our needs. And one of the things we're thinking of is doing something probably a little bit different, but in a way very traditional to what would have happened at old cottages, would be to have the vegetable and fruit garden on the front. We've got quite a big front garden here at Ivy Cottage, so we're thinking that this piece here, which is at the side of what would have been the old stables, is now the garage, lends itself to being a fruit and veg garden. It's bright, it's sunny, and it will work well. And we can fence it off with some decorative fencing just here, maybe some cordon fruit trees trained in a nice fashion, so it's separate, but it will create this area just here. So that's just one idea. At the minute we've got nothing down on paper. These are just ideas that Jill and I are throwing around. You've got to live in a garden a while and get used to it. So what I'll do, we'll have a wander round. I'll give you a little insight as to what we're going to try and do, a few things we can do immediately, and just show you some of the plants here in the garden. There are already quite a few established trees in the garden, and one that we will definitely be keeping is this one. This is the weeping silver pear, Pyrus salicifolia pendula, and it's got these long willow shaped silver leaves that just hang on the branches there, and it's one that does respond very well to pruning, so you can keep it compact. Some people prune it back hard every year to get that flush of new growth. It has white blossom on the older wood, and it does actually produce fruit, just small little hard pears. They're not edible, but it will fruit sometimes if it's a good season. Another shrub that we're going to keep in the garden is this one. This is a hibiscus, and this is the hardy deciduous hibiscus, not the house plant type, and it produces these beautiful big blue flowers like this. And here we are in September now, first week in September. This has been flowering since about the beginning of August, and there are a lot more buds still to come on it, so we'll get at least another 2 or 3 weeks out of this one. It's in the wrong place really, so, and it's leaning, but I think this will move. So this will be an autumn project. We will very carefully lift this with a big root ball and relocate it in the border and plant more around it, so it will still be safe, because it's very happy here and it just flowers and flowers and flowers. This is the view that you get looking out the kitchen window or from the dining room, and it's onto the garden, as you can see, and there is a patio area. Now the patio area does need to be made bigger. That's something we definitely want to do, because we intend to use this garden for eating outside in the summer and entertaining friends and family. So we will build a bigger patio as part of the design when we do the garden, and the ground does raise slightly, so we're going to extend it probably out to at least here, but it will mean then a step up into the garden, so a little retaining wall and some planting. And the idea is, because it's quite wide this way, is we don't want to see all the garden in one go. So we will divide it into areas using planting and some structures of some sort, so that you can then meander through the garden. So this is one of the main areas that we're going to do in the garden. And then over at the back here, we've got the lawns. Lawns have suffered, like many lawns this year, with the dry weather. It's been very dry here in this part of Lincolnshire. And we've got some, again, mature planting here. And what I'm going to do is keep some of this. I'm not going to get rid of it all. I will keep it, but we're going to lift the canopy, because I think this creates what I want is my little mini woodland area. The garden's not big enough to have a woodland, but I can have a woodland corner. So this will be the basis of it. We will introduce more shrubby planting and underplanting, but the conifers here that are very established have grown very, very low. So one of the things that I'm going to be doing this autumn is I'm going to go inside here, and I don't know whether Jill can get in, because I just think this in here creates a lovely cool atmosphere. So on a warm sunny day when you want a little bit of shade, we'll be able to come in here, and what I'll do is what we call lift the canopy. I will cut off lots of these lower branches, some of the dead wood, clear all this out, lift it up so we still have a canopy overhead, but we can see into it, and that will allow a lot more light in, and we can then probably put a little path through, and we can plant ferns and hostas and hellebores and spring flowering bulbs there to make a separate little part of the garden. Sadly, this crabapple tree will have to go. It's really struggling. It's got canker. It's quite an old one, so this will go, but we will replace anything we take out with even more planting. But one apple tree that will stay, in fact, at the moment it's the only apple tree in the garden, is this big old Bramley apple, and it's got quite a good crop of fruit on there, so we're going to get plenty of apple pies and apple crumbles this year. And you can see by the thickness of the trunk, it's quite an old one. So what we'll do is keep this, but I will prune it and shape it a little bit. I'm going to open it up a little bit more so that you can actually see into the tree. I'd like to put a little tree house in there for our grandson and for me to just escape. When Jill's looking for me to do the washing up, I can be up there in the tree house. So that is going to be another winter job. Quite a bit of heavy pruning, but we'll get a lovely open tree to retain the character, because I would think it's 100+ years old there. And then of course what we've got here, this area will again be part of the garden. I think it was the vegetable plot originally, but I've just put all my stock plants on there. So we've got lots of plants, herbaceous and shrubs that we've propagated and bought at shows or grown from our old garden ready for this one, just to complement the many existing trees and shrubs and roses that are in the garden. This will form part of the new planting. I've got one more thing I want to show you, which I'm very excited about, so follow me. And this is it, my own little potting shed in one of the old stables. So just come in and have a look. It's very much in its infancy at this stage. I've just got everything moved in. It's all a little bit cluttered, but I'm going to eventually clear it all out, put shelves up there, we'll hang all the tools so I know where they are. I've already got my potting bench ready for action, so I can be doing cuttings, seed sowing in here, and it's just a place to come for a little bit of quiet inspiration so I can plan the garden. So we'll keep you updated with regular videos as and when we start the work, and hopefully you'll better join us as we develop the garden here at Ivy Cottage. Well, thank you for watching Pots and Trowels, and remember you can watch all our past gardening videos on YouTube and on Facebook. Next time we're going to be out and about looking at another garden, so we'll see you then. Bye.